pleased to present for your consideration.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Jabberbox Podcast episode. That's right, 25. I'm one of your hosts, Andy Bond, and with me are the Icy Blues of the Desert, the former devil himself, Mr. Dan Singleton. What's up, Dan?
Hey, what's cracking, everyone?
If you're joining in for the very first time, then you should know that this show is about the two of us as we ramble on through pop culture topics such as, but not limited to, games, movies, shows, and whatever else we want to jabber about. You can get the show over on youtube.com/dandydigital or over on Spotify and other podcast services by searching Jabberbox and hitting that subscribe button. If you like what you hear and want to be part of the show, head on over to patreon.com/dandydigital. Some housekeeping for you. We at Dandy Digital will be taking a break for the holiday season to spend with family and friends, but we will return to recording on January 7th. Now let's get on. What's up, Dan? What's going on? How's your week?
Week is good. So it's not bad. So it's just another week, man. Just another week closer to Christmas and New Year and getting ready for all that. Keeping busy, doing my thing. How about you? What's your week been like?
It's been hectic. We've been taking care of all the stuff for Christmas. I think we're pretty much all wrapped. I think there's like one or two stragglers that are waiting in the mail that I'm not even, expecting to be here by Christmas because they were delayed from the printing press. So it's not that I ordered it late. It's that, there was some mix-ups or some issues with making the product. So I don't want to say because it is a gift for somebody. And I don't want them to hear it. So, but aside from that, it's been pretty good. I did a Secret Santa, and I got that kind of stuff sent out. So they've already received it, and which was pretty cool. They like Bob's Burgers, so I got them the cookbook to Bob's Burgers, and then a Christmas coloring book with Bob's Burgers as well. So it's something small, nothing too super crazy, but hopefully they enjoy it.
That's cool, man. I didn't do any Secret Santa or anything like that this year, but I did donate some toys. But
yeah, we did that too. We 2 days ago or so, we went and did the Christmas Angel. So we picked a little boy and a little girl and picked out some toys because that's all it says on the ticket was toys. So we tried to mix it up a little bit, and try to get certain toys for certain things, so it wasn't all the same thing, if that makes sense. So we got a basketball for the little boy, along with a pack of 5 Hot Wheel cars and then an Iron Man toy. So he has some range as to what he wants to play. And then we also got him a jacket, because it's cold out there and we don't know what kind of, I don't want to say what kind of shape the families are in, but it's something that's here's what you want, here's what you probably need. And so we did that. And we did that for a little girl too. We got our little Mrs. Potato Head, got our baby doll, and then I forget what the other one was, and then a jacket for her as well.
Yeah. So yeah, that's actually a pretty good philosophy for gift giving. We're actually going to start adopting that starting next Christmas for just us. We're going to go with the something you want, something you need, something to wear, something to read. So it's going to be 4 gifts.
Yeah. It's really neat.
Simple. Yeah. Because, Jesus Christ, I've wrapped so many gifts and they already have so much. And it's okay, we need to
scale
dial this back.
Yeah. That is one of the things too that, we talk about. It's did we do enough? Are we doing enough for the kids that we have? And it's yeah, it's they have a Christmas here and they're going to have a Christmas at their dad's house. And then, grandma's going to have a Christmas for them. You know what I mean? Yep. So it's we got them everything essentially on their list, and then they're going to get extra shit too. So it's they're good, Right. It's kind of we watched Home Alone last night and they're flying to Paris, and their parents were sitting there, and I was this is us. So the mom's are the kids okay? Should we have done more? And then, the dad was we're flying to Paris. He's the most I did when I was a kid was flying our, station wagon to Pittsburgh. You know what I mean? At a certain point, it's they can be humbled a little bit. So But I think it's gonna be pretty good. I will say though, it is getting fucking crazy out there. I almost got I don't want to say sideswiped. I almost got T-boned by some fucking Lyft van. Not paying attention to the lights or anything like that. Like, it was time for me to go, right? As everybody had stopped, and I had already left the mall because I was grabbing something. And as I was leaving, I'm in the intersection. The light turns green, so I have a green arrow to make a left. So I'm starting to make my turn, and I hear a screeching, and I look over to my side, and I see this fucking minivan flying at me, and it scared the shit out of me, man. Like, I saw my life flash before my eyes, but it wasn't my like past. You know what I mean? It wasn't everything that I've done up until now. It was all like I could see the hours of misery that I was about to enter if I didn't fucking floor it and get out of the way. So I avoided that, thankfully, but that still scared the shit out of me. And once I saw that, I kind of stayed inside most of the time for this week.
Oh, that's fair.
I was like, that's not how I want to spend Christmas,
Yeah, who would?
So,
but, the toys I donated, it wasn't the Christmas angels like you see at the mall. It was just I just grabbed some toys, and there was a toy donation bin actually at my Crumble location. So I just dropped them in there and when I got my cookies.
Awesome.
Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah, I like doing it. I haven't had a chance to really do it so much growing up, but I did. Like once I had a job, but I did do it when I could, and I actually enjoy doing that, especially for, like Mary likes to get the babies, right? Which everybody does, and I get it, but it's like I like to get the older kids so I can get them something cool. So you know what I mean? So that they can enjoy that. So I like, like we got a 3-year-old or a 3-year-old and a 4-year-old. I can't remember which one went to which, but that's so like the cars, like they're gonna remember that shit. Like I remember playing with cars, and I still have them. So
yeah, I have mine too. My kids play with my old cars now, plus their own.
Right. So, like, it's neat, and that builds something. That's going to be their memory. You know what I mean? So, but speaking of Crumble,
yes, sir.
You were in there dropping toys off for Crumble.
Yes, I was.
We got the cookies for this week, and they were a mixed bag, I will say.
Yeah, a little bit here, a little bit there. Couple middle of the road. Again, none of them bad. Just where do they rank in the overall hierarchy? Because some of those cookies in the past, man, are tough to beat.
Yes. So let's go ahead and dive right into that one. I did forego the churro this week because it is a returning cookie for us. So
yes,
I didn't need to get 5 cookies, especially around the fucking holidays. I have plenty of cookies that we've made here. So
we did not forego the churro because that's one of Jessica's favorites. So we ended up getting that. But it was It was different. It was the same flavors, but the sweetness was dialed up to 11. It was sweet.
Nice.
It was like almost like pouring sugar straight into your mouth.
That's gross.
It was a little bit. It was a little bit too much.
Yeah. I
didn't knock churro down my list because of that.
Oh no, I'm not going to do it for different cookies.
Yeah. The first time I had it, it was solid.
Yeah. I was like, you're already on my list, so I don't need to get you again, unless you're a top 5. Now, I will say that one of the cookies that we received was a top 5.
Oh.
Yeah. You want to guess which one?
I'm going to guess for you it was turtle.
I will say that was my lower ranking ones over the week and overall.
Well, in that case, it was probably the mint chocolate chip.
So I'll go ahead and get into it. So I would say turtle for me ranks really low, probably in like the 60s. I won't get that again. Yeah.
Wow. Yep. My lowest rank this week was the orange roll cookie. And even then, it was like mid-tier for my all-time list. So it just goes up from there. So for me, there was no real bad one this week.
Okay. So orange roll was your last one?
Yep. And it came in at... Oh, I forgot to update the numbers.
Oh, we don't need the numbers at the moment. I'm just saying overall for the week. I will say, though, for the orange roll...
Week, and it came in number 42 overall for me out of 86. So, like, right in the middle.
Halfway. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say the orange roll was good, and I think it would have done higher overall in my list and my rankings if it was more kick in the mouth flavorful. Like
it was subtle.
It was subtle, but it reminded me of the orange Cinnabon ones that that you can get from Pillsbury that you make from the store.
I don't think I've ever had those.
Oh my God. Go get those, make them, and then you'll be like, okay, it's like that cookie, pulled back on its flavors, right? It's the subtleness of it. The Cinnabon ones, or like the cinnamon roll orange ones, kick you in the mouth with flavor. And so they taste very similar. It's just, like you said, the dialing of flavors. The cookie dialed it back, whereas Pillsbury dials it up.
I liked that they used the spice cake cookie as the base for it instead of just like a plain sugar cookie base.
Yes. Yep.
I appreciated that.
I did enjoy that as well, which, I mean, that, when I say mixed bag for my week, it's just because Turtle ranked so fucking low. Like, it was very disappointing in that one. Orange Roll was pretty good. I will say my number 2 was the Double Trouble.
That was mine. Wait, your number 2 overall for the week, or
for the week?
Okay, that was my next up the chain. So number 4 for the week, because I'm counting backwards here. So yeah, Double Trouble was my number 4, and it came in at 39 overall.
Wow. Yeah, I like it. It was good.
It was nothing terribly unique. It was good. It was creamy. It was extra chocolatey, but it was nothing super unique or special in my mind.
I had to try to cut it in a certain way where we would all get double flavors.
Right.
Yeah, because they did it down the center. And I think it would have been cool if it was somehow done in a swirl. I mean, I'm sure that's probably hard to do because I know what you're doing is you're taking 2 batters, putting them together.
Yeah. But for mass producing cookies, that's probably difficult. The swirl bit.
But it was good. I enjoyed it. But I will say then my mint chip ice cream, that was a top 5. Now, it did come in number 3. So it's under peach cobbler and key lime pie, respectively. And it came in at number 3. So mint is a pretty solid one to hit up higher ranks. Because I have the mint chip ice cream, midnight mint at number 6, and then the Aggie blue mint at number 8. So
yeah. So mint is your thing. Okay.
Yeah, I fucking love it, man.
Your my caramel is your mint.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, mint chocolate chip ice cream was the middle of the road for me this week. It was very creamy, but I actually liked the Aggie blue mint a little better, personally.
Yeah. I like that the mint chip ice cream actually tasted like ice cream. Like
it
it was
had a similar consistency.
What do you mean?
Well, the that little dollop of whipped cream that they put in the center of the cookie, I wish that was over the whole thing, because when you get that bite with it in there, it's like there's ice cream that's melted in your mouth.
Yeah. Well, now like next time, get some Cool Whip and toss it on there.
Cool Whip.
Or I can let you know how I do that, because I'm getting that every time you put that on the list. It's a top 5, So
fair enough.
But cool. All right, man. Seems like they're pretty solid. We'll have a couple ranks to do, 3 weeks worth, and next time we record, because we'll have them over the weekend or over the holiday break. But who knows? If they do some doubles, then depending on what it is, I may skip them.
That's fair. Yeah. The next up for me was Churro at 16 overall, and then Turtle at 13 overall.
Churro for me, it was 18. So it wasn't too far down, but again, around the holidays, I don't need the extra cookie. And if you're not a top 5 at that point,
that's fair.
You know what I mean? At this point in the month, you're not getting, I'm not picking you up.
Really, the only issue I had with the turtle cookie was, and of course, me being me, I wish I had more caramel.
Mine had quite a bit. I just, for some reason, I don't like pecans. You know what I mean? And it wasn't anything special. Where like I took a quarter of it, and as I was eating it, Mary just looked at me and she knew. I was like, "Yep, I won't get this one again." So, but that's just me. So awesome. That's our cookie. It's our crumble cookie rankings for the week.
And
welcome.
They were pretty good.
Yeah, they were good. Get that mint ice cream, man. So what else is going on?
Oh, what's going on in the world? Well, today, as we record this, it is December 17th. And today was, obviously, by the time people are listening to this, this will have passed. But there was this dumb TikTok challenge going on across the country to either threaten or commit acts of violence at schools across the country today, the last day before schools go on Christmas break. And
what the hell's wrong with people?
A lot of schools and media outlets have taken it pretty seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, for our kids, we actually got an email from the school district saying, hey, we're aware of this. We're going to have extra officers at every campus and the whole nine. And it's just dumb that even is a thing that's taking place. And two, I mean, it's important to be aware of stuff like that, but at the same time, the media really has a hard on for fear porn, man. Like, the more that they can scare people, the more eyeballs they attract and the more money they make. So there's this incentive for them to hype up anything that's, danger, especially when it becomes emotionally attached, like with kids. So I'm not saying it's not something that should be taken seriously. I'm just saying my big beef is that it is pushed out as you should be terrified of this. Like, you should change your entire life for this day because of this.
Right.
And if people want to, I understand. It's not like this is unprecedented. It's like we've never had a school violence issue. I get it. But at the same time, how much fear are we going to let control us as we keep going down this fucking path of insanity?
I will say that, in the vein of the school, we received an email stating that starting in January after the break for the kids, they don't give a shit about COVID, essentially, is what the email stated. Like, if you are sick, you can put on a mask, just show up. Or you could stay home. We don't care. It's the parents' discretion. If you feel like you're not contagious, come on into school. That's the shit that it was saying.
Awesome.
So I was like, wow, Peoria Unified School District. Congratulations, fucking idiots. Like, you know what I mean? So now the oldest one has been vaccinated. And over the holiday break, we're going to get the youngest one her first shot. So, because it's like, because we have the shot doesn't mean you can't get it. And these people, like, this is what I was talking about, how people don't know how to fucking behave. You know what I mean? They're going to just do whatever they want to do and fuck all who wants to be part of it or be around them.
Yeah, there was some news that came out yesterday regarding COVID shots. I guess the CDC has come out and said, if do not get the J&J shot if you have the ability to get Pfizer or Moderna, because the J&J shot is they're seeing more long-term issues and side effects with J&J than they are the other ones. And when I saw that come out, I was just like, man, that's gonna further entrench the I'm never gonna get a shot versus you have to get a shot.
Right.
Like, the two sides are just going to become more entrenched with that kind of news floating out. Because, when the CDC comes out and says something like that, I'm sure that the very staunch anti-shot people out there are going to point to that and go, see, we fucking told you so.
Right. Yeah, but these are the same idiots that, probably didn't want to get the polio, shot and all that shit. It's like, you could put it on the records that are needed for school, and if you don't want to do it, then you go pay for public school or homeschool your little hellions at that point. Yeah,
it just creates a lot more division and confusion. And again, this feeds into the fear porn of social media and traditional news media. So if it bleeds, it leads, and if it fears, it draws eyeballs, and that makes money. So I don't see an immediate solution, unfortunately.
No, I don't think it. I think honestly, this day and age, it's hard to see solutions for a lot of these things that are happening. You know, it's crazy to think like I don't know. Like I saw, I saw that Elon Musk made it on Man of the Year or whatever for Time Magazine,
Right.
and somebody was talking in a class that Mary was teaching yesterday, and they had asked like who like if you could have she asked if you could have any superpower, what would you want? And the person in the class said, I want to be rich. And so they're like, that's not a superpower. And she's like, sure it is. She's like, but I want to be like a Lex Luthor rich. You know, it was like, she's like, we already have too many of those people. Like, look at Time Magazine. Elon Musk is on in there and he's a Lex Luthor rich, you know, which I thought was really funny. She's like, I'd want to be like a Batman or an Iron Man type rich where I could use the money to help people as opposed to use the money to help myself. So I thought that was really funny.
And there's an argument to be made for it.
But it's like I thought I was having this conversation as well last night actually, where it's like somebody was like millennials are going to be the people that change the world, and I disagree with that to a point. I think that they have the potential to change it, and they're going to do a lot of different changes for the good. I think it's too late. You know what I mean? We've already fucked up the world. And I think we're now going into the pathway of like Interstellar, where we're trying to get off the planet because we can't even grow crops. That's where I think we're heading. You know what I mean? Right. It's like, yeah, those are like the millennials. Like, we're building rockets to get the fuck out of here because we can, and we can establish colonies outside of Earth. But it's too late for us to fix Earth because the damage is already done.
Well, I guess that'll remain to be seen.
Yeah,
I think most things are just going to skip over millennials and go straight to Gen Z. Like, people still envision millennials as like 15 to 22-year-olds. It's like, no, those motherfuckers are in their mid 40s to almost 50 now.
Yeah, that's true. But
so, yeah,
I mean, we'll see, right? That's all we can do is just see. But let's see. So we're having. So you sound different. Is your mic?
So I don't know what happened to my mic. Like, it's weird. I was just in the middle of talking, and now I even sound different to myself. I mean, if you can still hear me though, right?
Yeah. Okay. So I wonder if it went through the webcam again.
I don't know. It might have. I hope not. I suppose it could have, though. I don't
know. But moving on from all that, I see what's up with this crypto.
Oh, well, okay. So crypto. I was just going to touch on it. I still am super out of the loop with crypto, and I've decided this week that I'm going to make a more serious effort to try to understand it, because I really do think that this is going to be the way things move. I think things are going to be digitized, and if I can try to be out in front of that more than trying to catch up to it, all the better. Like, I know the early movers are already, that's done. Like, I'm not an early adopter by any means. We have multi-billion-dollar banking institutions and individuals that are already pouring tons of money into it. And that's not the position I'm in. I just want to be more knowledgeable. And so I'm just taking the steps to do that. And I think everybody else should too.
So how are you? So what are you looking at to learn more about it? Is there anything that's popped out?
So I'm trying to keep up a little more with news involving crypto. I'm probably going to get involved with, purchasing crypto.
Dogecoin.
Yeah, Dogecoin, stuff like that. But again, like, okay, cool, Dogecoin. What the hell does it do? Why is it valuable? That's the kind of stuff I need to learn.
Right.
And there's a lot of information out there. Some of it's reputable, some of it's not. So I'm just going to have to sit down and start digging through that and figuring out what's what as I go.
Awesome. And you're starting that today. This is what you're looking into.
This week,
Yeah.
somebody at work was talking to me about it, and that's what kind of piqued my interest because they were telling me some stuff about what banking institutions and multinational organizations are doing with crypto, and it like I said, it just piqued my interest to know, kind of have my eyes opened a tiny fraction of a bit about the potential crypto has on what it does. So I just want to learn more. And given the trend of crypto growing as much as it has the past 2 years, it's hard to see how it can be stopped at this point and how it doesn't eventually become a major factor in finance and spending in the future.
Yeah. Well, if you come across anything, that seems interesting, any articles or anything like that, bring it up for sure. We'll chat about it and we'll pass it along to the listeners.
Fair enough. Yeah, I just wanted to put that out there for everybody because, like I said, I think it's going to be pretty important moving forward in the next, 5 to 10 years.
We've seen it a little bit,
so,
right?
Yeah, it's already happening.
We've done it for when we were doing the stuff on like Robinhood and such. Like I just looked at it, and while it's down for Bitcoin, it's still at 46,000 for a share. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
could you imagine if you just put like, oh, I have $50 in 10 years ago, I'm going to get $100 worth of Bitcoin.
Right.
You'd be practically a billionaire today. Probably not quite a billionaire, but you'd have a fuck ton of money.
Right.
So that's just that. I'm not saying that that's going to happen with every coin that exists.
No, but there are people who saw that and they took that and they're like, they bought 200 shares.
True, but then there's also the people out there that spent Bitcoin to do things. Like the first Bitcoin purchase was for a pizza, and that pizza in today's dollars ended up being a cost of like $250 million or something crazy like that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's interesting. I'd like to learn more about it myself. So I will, I'll see what you have to see.
Yeah, that person at work, super knowledgeable about it, it seems like, but he was just talking to me about it, and I could barely follow anything because there's a lot of terminology I wasn't familiar with. So that's what I'm going to try to brush up on. And
did he provide any sort of articles or anything? Any books that he, what made him so knowledgeable? Was he just looking into it, or?
He's been involved for a couple of years now, is what he was telling me.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
Cool. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see more and learn more myself. So I would like to learn how, more about stocks in general. You know what I mean? Like I know it's like very analytical, but I want to be able to know, or at least learn how to potentially find out these big things that are coming in, It's kind of like the glass. There's a glass company that somebody just totally invested in, and he did the same thing kind of like, for Bitcoin. He spent like his check, one of his weekly checks or whatever on this glass that ended up being the glass that they use for iPhones and other mobile devices. So it just flew out the window, like it skyrocketed. So I want to be able to do stuff like that where maybe not to the point where I'm not going to expect to be rich off the first thing. You know what I mean? But like, I want to be able to see this and figure out where on the the internet or where I can find this sort of information and start to see the patterns and start to kind of get that gut feeling about what's gonna go and what's not.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, I think I fixed my microphone, by the way.
Awesome.
Yeah. Hooray.
Yeah.
Just in time.
Yeah, just in time. So let's go ahead and move on then. Last week we didn't get a chance to do it because of the video game or the Game Awards, the 2021 Game Awards. But with it being Christmas next week, and when this is our last show for the year, I wanted to kind of go over what are some of our favorite Christmas songs are, specifically like a top 5, kind of like what we did for the movies.
Sure. So what's your number 5, good sir?
So I'm pulling this up here. Now, I do want to say I'm going to toss in a couple of
honorable mentions.
Honorable mentions. Yes.
I have two
I
myself.
actually have a couple. I will say, and a lot of people are going to be against me, and I understand that. Like I've somehow become the minority for it because it's overplayed. I understand it, but it's not Christmas until I fucking hear it, which is "All I Want for Christmas" by Mariah Carey. Like,
Gross.
I enjoy that song. I've always enjoyed that song, and I'm not going to deny it. You know. And I'm not going to apologize for it either. You guys have the problem, not me. So that's one of my honorable mentions. I will say that one of the honorable mentions as well is "Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas" by Christina Aguilera. She has a fucking incredible voice, and I love the way that she sings that song. So again, honorable mention. And then my third honorable mention was Dominic the Donkey by Lou Monte.
I have to admit, I'm not familiar with that one.
I actually wasn't familiar with this one for a very long time until last year when I was driving, I don't even know where, and I put on our Christmas channel on the radio, right? Because I wasn't streaming anything off Spotify and all that shit. And somebody requested this song. Or it was probably the year before that or something. Because I think I was driving to work in the morning and they requested that song and I heard it and it's just a fun jingle. And I think that, Alexa really likes it. And when it comes on, so it's one of those things where, like, again, we connect on something like that. So I like that one quite a bit. You should give it a shot. The kids might really like it on your end.
Okay, well, good to know.
So from there, my number 5 is "It's Beginning to Look Like Christmas" by Bing Crosby. A classic.
Absolutely a classic.
Right? You can't really go wrong with a Bing Crosby or a Nat King Cole. So I feel like that's just a pretty solid number 5 as well. From there, Mary actually introduced this next one to me where she's like, "This is my favorite Christmas song," and it's pretty fucking solid. It's a number 4 for me, which is "Oh Holy Night" by Josh Groban.
Okay.
That guy has some fucking pipes on that song, man. Like,
a little off topic, but I think my microphone may have gone out again.
I can't tell.
Okay, I'll just keep going. Screw it. I mean, if you can still hear me, who cares?
Yeah. So seriously, Josh Groban, it's one of those things where I'm not familiar with his music in general, but it was like, "Oh Holy Night" is a pretty good song on its own, especially if you know how to sing it. It's almost like the national anthem. You have to have a set of pipes that carry certain, points in the song. And Josh Groban is able to do that. And it's fucking deep and long and fucking loud, man. So
that's what she said.
Yeah. So check out that one. Then I'm going to say "White Christmas" from The Drifters, which a lot of it, like, I was first introduced to that particular song from Home Alone, right? I like the song overall. I like how it gets a little bit goofy. I like to sing in the high-pitched voice around everybody when it actually happens. So that's my number 3. My number 2 is another, I don't want to say controversial song, but it goes in with Mariah Carey to a point where people like to play a game saying that you lose Christmas when you hear "Last Christmas" by Wham.
Okay.
I fucking love that song. And it's not just Wham, it's anybody who sings that song. Like, I have not yet heard a bad version of "Last Christmas." So I enjoy Wham's version. I've heard Kelly Clarkson sing it, which is pretty good. I've heard, Jimmy Eat World? They do a pretty good version of it. Like, I understand everyone's going to bring a different flavor to that particular song, and I enjoy every single fucking one of those. So, but I will say that my number 1 is going to be, again, another classic by Mr. Nat King Cole, and that's "Caroling, Caroling."
Okay. Well, that's a pretty eccentric mix you're kind of all over the place, which I guess I can't say much. I'm looking at my list right now, and I'm pretty traditional with my Christmas songs. Apparently, I have some Bing Crosby, I have some, Nat King Cole. So, all right. So my list. So my honorable mentions are Mele Kalikimaka.
Okay. It's a solid one.
Yeah, it's fun and enjoyable, and my next is honorable mention is Baby It's Cold Outside, which I know some people think that that's like a horrible sexist song, but I don't give a fuck. I enjoy it, and that's all that matters. And I'm not too picky on who sings those particular ones, although traditionally it's Bing Crosby and Dean Martin, respectively, for those.
Right.
My third and final honorable mention, and this is the one where I'm not in the traditional Christmas music, is Things I Want by Tenacious D and Sum 41.
I haven't heard that one. It's
hilarious, and it's very much a Tenacious D song with the early 2000s, Sum 41 kind of sound to it. So it's pretty enjoyable. I recommend it. My number 5, White Christmas by Frank Sinatra.
Okay.
Number 4, Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas by Judy Garland. Again, like I said, I'm going with the old school traditional songs here.
Right.
A Holly Jolly Christmas by Burl Ives.
Ooh, yeah.
The Christmas Song by Nat King Cole.
Okay.
And then You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch is my number 1 all time. Without question, my favorite Christmas song.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah. It's just a series of non-vulgar insults rolled into a Christmas song, and I enjoy it a lot.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see it. So yours is essentially classics, more like a jazz room type classic, and then you toss in the insults at the top.
Yeah, why not?
That's awesome. That's a good list. I'll have to check out that Tenacious D one.
Yeah, I wasn't even aware of that until like 2 weeks ago, and now it's up there for me.
Awesome. What was it called again?
Things I Want by Tenacious D and Sum 41.
Awesome. Okay. It is now on my list. I am going to check that out after this episode, after this recording.
All right.
Yeah.
Most excellent.
Most excellent indeed. Seriously, Dominic the Donkey, check that shit out.
All right. I'll see if the kids like it too. By the time we finish recording, everybody should be home. So,
all right. So that's our Christmas top 5 with some honorable mentions. You can tell us if you like them or hate them. I expect some sort of hate coming from 2 of the songs that I have on my list overall.
Shit, you've already received a little bit.
But that's just because you guys don't love yourself. That's how I'm going to respond to that. So, Dan.
Yes, sir. What's up?
You're the Halo guy, right?
Sure. Yeah. I finally was able to play the Infinite campaign just this morning.
The whole thing?
No. I was finally able to start the Halo Infinite campaign this morning.
Because I was like, you get crazy with certain games, so I wouldn't put it past you to be like, I started it and then I beat it. So fuck you.
Yeah, not quite.
So what do you think?
It's been pretty enjoyable. You can tell the areas where they have developed for co-op in the future. But obviously that's not a feature that's available yet, unfortunately. But you can see where they prepped the game for it. So, for example, when you said, I don't want to spoil much, but so as I can. But there are times when you create these, or you take over these bases. And in the bases, you can earn the right to summon weapons to resupply yourself.
Right.
And there are 4 boxes that are configured to call up a weapon of your choice.
Right.
So clearly that is intended for 4 players.
Yeah.
Stuff like that I have noticed in the game. So they obviously had it as a consideration. Why it's not available right now, I don't want to guess, because I have no idea. It's disappointing, but it's clearly in the works.
I mean, the only thing I could think of, like we said in our group chats with some buddies, is I think the open world is giving them more trouble with co-op than they realized.
Yeah, probably.
You know what I mean? Because I thought, yeah, sure, it's open world. I never really thought that, and I up until I played it, I didn't actually connect open world with Halo. So I thought, okay, I don't understand why there's not co-op, because all the other fucking Halos had it, and like I would think Reach would have been open world, but it's not. You know what I mean? It's an open linear story, and that's why it worked in that one. And this one changes it quite a bit, at least when you're on the Zeta Halo itself. And I think that's what's causing trouble, and I think that's what's causing a lot of bugs, and they didn't want to put that out there.
Yep.
So
yeah, I would agree with that general assessment. That's probably accurate.
If you took out the open world running around, which doesn't do anything other than keep you in the game longer to go hunt for collectibles and those bases, because once you get into certain story points, you're in a linear, trek at that point.
You're in a more traditional Halo experience.
Right. So I honestly think it's the ring, the Halo ring itself, is causing problems. Now, when I played it, so I think I'm getting close to being halfway in the story, because I'm going around and I'm trying to collect as much as possible while I'm in the areas.
Yeah.
There's certain ones where I'm like the data pads. I like that it tells you that there's data pads in the area, and then you have to kind of hunt those. I pick those up here and there. I'm really more like hunting for skulls and data pads when I'm in the major missions, because you can't replay those missions.
Right.
But on the world, I just kind of go through and I collect it, and then I have a checklist that I use on IGN that I'm going through and I'm selecting it as I'm getting it. So you can see on this interactive map a lot of icons, and a lot of them are starting to get grayed out in the starting area. So I'm enjoying it. I will say that I think overall, and I haven't played all the Halos, but I think Master Chief, like, he's not he's very stoic. You know what I mean? I feel like there's a lot of missed opportunity for him to talk with the AI. You know what I mean? Aside from just cutscenes that are meant to push the story along. You know what I mean? I realized this when I was fighting one of the I guess the brute elites, right? And the cutscene was him essentially picking Master Chief up and throwing him across the room. And so Master Chief's fucking tumbling around on the floor, and the weapon, the little AI that's with you, is like, he's like, the way she's saying he's there, kind of giving him a heads up, and he's like, I know. Like, I get it. Like, I saw it. You know what I mean? After he got thrown. I feel like there's a lot of areas that could have done with more of their banter to kind of make it more enjoyable for me.
I think that was possibly a intentional decision to highlight the fact that he knows this isn't Cortana, so I think he's hesitant to be friendly with it.
Yeah. I mean, like, again, I haven't played the other Halos a whole lot. Like, I played 1 and half of 2 on the Master Chief Collection and Reach and ODST. Does he have communications, like, openly and frequently with Cortana on the other ones?
Obviously the other ones are a little different because you're not in an open world setting. It is those linear missions in the past where, you cross door threshold A and the game knows, okay, start this dialogue. So it's hard to compare, because the opportunity for organic dialogue between the two was not present in previous games like it is in Halo Infinite between Master Chief and the weapon.
Yeah. Okay. Because I mean, open world aside, you know what I mean? She kind of nudges you when you're like running around. I'm at a point where I'm supposed to be going into a pretty big fortification, you know, like a forerunner, like tech, like a building almost. And I'm not doing that. I'm going around and I'm doing the little bases and I'm collecting the, you know, the Mjolnir cosmetics and collecting the Spartan core so I can level up my gear and shit like that. And she's like, all right, I'll just come out and say it. I really want to know what's in there, you know? So it's one of those things where she will pop up, but like Master Chief has no response to a lot of that aside from like him telling her to do something in a mission or, you know, a response to her smartass quip when he just got knocked down, you know? And I know, like, to your point, it could, you know, he could be hesitant because it's not Cortana, but it'd be interesting to hear them talk a little bit more. I feel like with the voice actor, they're just like, here's your lines, which is probably like 4 pages long, you know, just one off sentences, and then we're going to put it out. You know what I mean? Even when he falls or like when something happens, he's very silent. You know what I mean? There isn't any like grunts or anything like that. He's just completely silent. So it's almost like I'm playing a robot as opposed to a soldier. That's my critique on that.
Well,
but the gameplay overall is enjoyable.
It looks nice. It's fun. I'm not that far into it, so we'll see how it goes. But I understand the critique. It's also strange how not dumb, naive the weapon is. How dumb this AI is in like common sense.
Yeah, so they made her to be very childlike in that sense.
Yeah, and I think again that was probably done on purpose in order to contrast with Cortana, because this is it kind of looks like Cortana, and that was done on purpose. But I think they also want to, you know, really send the message home. This is not Cortana.
Right.
So I think that was all. I think everything we're talking about here was all purposely done.
Yeah. I know one of the things that was purposely done that I wish they would fucking fix is the vehicle controls.
I have not driven a vehicle yet.
Jesus Christ, man. I fucking hate it. Especially after playing Forza 5, where I drive around in a Warthog. Driving around in a Warthog in Halo Infinite is not fun.
That's a shame, because it was always fun in previous games. I haven't driven one yet.
Yeah, I don't like the controls. I don't like the twin stick controls where the camera is also the steering, and then, you know, the other one is to like move forward and backward. I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah, so that's how it's always been.
I know, but like fucking modernize it a little bit with, you know, driving games. You know what I mean?
I like the way they handle. I haven't driven one yet in Infinite, so it could be different. But the way you're describing it sounds like it's the same as every previous Halo game.
It seems that way based off of the other ones. You know, like Reach, when we drove around in those, it seems very similar. But it's like everything else in Halo Infinite feels tight as far as controls go, except for
that.
Yeah, well, and it's except for most vehicles. Even like I think the tank is fine. And I think the Ghost is fine. Those are the 2 other ones that I've driven. But like the ATV and the Warthog and the Razorback all drive in a fucking clunky ass way. Because I feel like it would be really badass for me to drive around, you know what I mean, on one of the ATVs and just ramp over and start jumping off and blasting people. But it's not fun, and I find myself traversing more on foot than anything.
Well, I've also. Speaking of, you know, Halo in general, I'm a little bit scared of this happening to me. There's been reports online and some articles that I've read now where some players on both the Xbox and the PC are having their saves wiped due to some sort of glitch of, you know, whatever's happening. they go to load into the game, and they're loaded into a third-person perspective, and Master Chief falls through the map and clips through everything. And when they restart their game and they go to load up their previous save point, it's gone. And they have to start the entire game over again. So apparently they're working on a solution for that. But what that will be remains to be seen.
Is this anything that, like, at a certain point is it happening, or is it random?
So it seems like it's when you try to fast load a game, like pick up where you left off, which is an option on the Series X. Or if you are signing in with a second controller, or if your controller disconnects or shuts off and then you turn it back on to start the game again. So there's a few reasons it has been reported to happen, but nothing confirmed by the developers yet, by 343.
That sucks. If that happens, I think I'm done playing it.
Which is, yeah, I would be in the same boat, honestly. Like, if that happens to me, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait months until they figure their shit out.
Yeah,
because there seems to be a lot of missing stuff for a quote unquote complete game.
Yeah, if I turn it on and it wipes my save, I won't play it until maybe this time next year. Yeah, they should have all that shit fixed, because then at that point I'm essentially starting from scratch, and I've already maxed out two of my, I've maxed out the grappling hook, I've maxed out the
shield.
Well, no, I'm working on that one. I think I have like 3 more to do on that one. It's like the first 2.
Yeah, the first
that
2
you get
are the grapple and the shield.
All right. Well, so I'm working on that, and then I'm working on my third one. Because I have all of them now. I've unlocked all of them. I just have to upgrade like the last couple.
Oh, nice.
So if it wipes, I'm done for a while. And it's like that with anything. I mean, I remember my PlayStation corrupting my save for like Final Fantasy, and I'm on, almost to disc 3 of Final Fantasy 7. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll come back to that in a year.
That exact thing happened to me for Final Fantasy 7. I was about to go down into the crater, and my game was corrupted. I technically have never beaten Final Fantasy 7.
Download it off of Game Pass, man. Put in those. They have those codes now, or it's not really codes. It's like inputs from the controller where you can double click in your sticks for like ×3 speed, and then you can always have the limit breakers on.
Yeah, I did that for Final Fantasy 8, but I had beaten 8 when it first came out, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
22 years ago, whatever. So, I don't know, maybe.
I need to get back to 8 because I bought 9 and I want to go through that one like that. I like that because it's like I've played these games. I played them when they first came out, so I don't mind putting on the fast speed and the limit breaks that are always on and the infinite health type deal. It's like I just want to play it again, So. But hopefully, fingers crossed, knock on wood, for those that are playing Halo, that they don't experience that glitch.
Yeah, let's hope.
So, because that would really suck. So that's what we're playing. That's really only that I've been playing is Halo Reach, or I'm sorry, Halo Infinite.
Yeah, I've been scratching at PUBG and Horizon 5 still, but Halo has been my focus.
Yeah. That's been my primary focus. I still need to get back to playing Pokemon. I need to beat the Elite Four and the new one. But it's just Halo. It's like, because everything's been so fucking crazy with all the Christmas stuff that when I sit down, I tinker away a little bit, plug away and knock out some of the things on Halo. So I'm hoping to continue at that one.
Yeah, the last stuff that I need to wrap for Christmas actually arrived about an hour before we started recording today. So once I get that wrapped, I'm done. I'm ready.
Hell yeah. I do want to try out the Sega Genesis games on the Nintendo Switch. They are bringing more to the Nintendo Switch Online in an expansion pack. They're adding 5 Sega Genesis games, which is including Altered Beast, which is awesome.
Oh, nice.
Toe Jam and Earl.
It's a name I haven't heard in
right?
a very long time.
You could put that in the same pack as like Earthworm Jim, you know?
Yeah, that was a cartoon.
Yeah.
That's how I know it.
They also have Dynamite Heady, which I haven't actually heard of, Sword of Vermilion, which I have heard of but I've never played, and Thunder Force 2, which I played a little bit of. So I'm looking forward to jumping in there and trying those out. I know that they did a couple extra N64 games. I don't have that list in front of me, unfortunately, but I know the Paper Mario, one of the originals, or the original Paper Mario, is coming to the Nintendo Switch Online in an expansion pack. My thing with that, though, is I'm waiting to get my hands on the Nintendo 64 controller because you can't remap the controls on the Switch, and I'd rather just use the original controller to play around with, you know?
That makes sense.
So, but those are sold out. So hopefully after the holidays, they'll put them back in stock and I can jump on and grab one. But they have that. There's a CD Projekt Red, right? Those developers of Cyberpunk 2077, they have actually settled their lawsuit with unhappy investors, and they paid almost $2 million in the settlement.
That's it?
Yeah. So per IGN, it says earlier this year, it was reported that the developer was facing 4 lawsuits from investors following the turbulent launch of Cyberpunk 2077. As reported by The Verge, CD Projekt Red has now moved to settle the lawsuits, which have rolled into one larger suit, and in doing so, it appears that they are set to pay out around $1.85 million to resolve the issue. So that's just to their investors. That's not including the 30,000 refunds that were being issued to the the players upon their request. So that's a chunk of money on its own. You know what I mean? 30,000 times $60.
Yeah, that alone works out to 1.8 million.
Yeah. So almost 3 million in just this game alone. For Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah, but how many did they sell that weren't refunded? I guess is a good question too.
I think the refunds would be washed per the sales that stuck. Because I do remember seeing how many that they sold, and that was pushing. Well, I don't know.
Well, that won't be it'd be hard to calculate a loss without knowing their side of numbers.
Yeah.
Because you got to take into for it to be a wash, it would have to equal whatever their profit margin is times that many games to equal 1.8 million for refunds.
That's true.
So if their profit margin's only 6-7%, which I don't know what it is, I'm just throwing random numbers out there, then they would have to sell a fuckload more copies than were refunded in order to just break even.
Right. And one of those refunds were me. And I apologize, but I didn't actually want to refund that. I was just trying to see what the steps were, and it refunded. So yeah, well, I did want to play it, and I still want to play it. Honestly, if they would bring it out, if they port that PC version over to the PS5 and Xbox Series X, I'll play it. I'll get it. I agree that they should have been better at what they did for last gen consoles, but the PC version does pretty well. It got a higher rating than the other ones, and people are really liking it. So I would like to play it on next gen consoles that resemble PC, PC tech. So, but I feel like we're not out of this yet. So it's actually been pretty interesting to see the Cyberpunk 2077 storyline and the timeline of the game and everything go from when it was first announced to launch to now. You know what I mean? So it's interesting to see.
Yeah, there's a lot that's been going on with that game for sure, and nothing good from what I've heard.
Yeah. Ubisoft did actually announce this week that they are doing a Splinter Cell remake, which is pretty dope since everybody's been clamoring for a Splinter Cell game. They're going to be remaking Sam Fisher's first outing
So that's what, at least 3 years away, probably.
We'll see. I mean, they were supposed to do that with, what is it, Prince of Persia. I think that they announced that in 2017.
Yep. So there you go. I mean, I'm sure COVID screwed that up quite a bit, but we're still looking at 4 years, almost 5. We're almost on year 5 for that announcement.
Yeah, Prince of Persia's remake is still happening, but they're not even looking for it to be out until 2023.
Yeah. Yep. So hold your breath, I guess.
Right. But at least they gave us something. You know, Splinter Cell fans have been pretty much getting the short end of the stick for quite some time for that series, with just the inclusion of Sam Fisher being a guest star in like mobile games.
Which is just a licensing. Excuse me. It's just licensing cash cow. That's what that is.
Right. So it's going to be using the new Snowdrop engine, which is the tech that's also used for the Division and some other upcoming games that we're unaware of, aside from it being Star Wars.
I really enjoyed the Division 2. Well, I never played the first one, but the Division 2 was a very enjoyable game. So it was a pretty good engine. Yeah,
I think it's going to look really great. Now, if we can use, I don't know how Snowdrop is compared to Unreal, specifically Unreal 5. So we played the Matrix Awakens tech demo.
Yeah, super impressive stuff.
What are your thoughts on that? How was your experience?
I was very impressed by it. There wasn't a lot of action that you were able to partake in. It was pretty limited in that regard. I mean, yeah, you got to, like you see in the demo, you get to shoot out tires and you take on that helicopter that flies up. But it's all like there's not much player choice in what you're doing. It basically like, hey, shoot at the tires, and you get to pick which tire, but you don't actually aim yourself, if that makes sense.
Right.
So, but it looks amazing. You can slightly tell, that it's, CGI people. It's not actual footage. But the control that you have, not you as the player, but they kind of let you look behind the scenes at what a developer can see. So you can see what kind of the triangle count, or you can mess with the position of the sun to see what that looks like. You can change it from night to day to see what those differences are. And they're pretty damn impressive.
Yeah. I really enjoyed that. That they actually did that, like a tech demo for the PS5 before that was coming out. I forget the title of it. It was like, I don't want to say Luminous or Luminite. But they did a trailer. I think it's Luminous from what I see here. So essentially, it was kind of like a Tomb Raider type game, right? Okay. So you're going through this cavern, and she's walking between these statues in this open world in this room, right? And they kind of did the same thing like what the Matrix did, where they kind of flipped it into the triangle mode. I'm sorry for like the terrible technology terms, but you get to see like every statue was its own thing, much like the cars and the buildings and the windows of the Matrix, right? The fire or the light that she was holding allowed it like to bounce off the wall and bounce off other statues, which then tempered how the reflection was going to be on the statues behind it and on the ceiling and stuff like that. So I thought that was really cool. I really liked like during the building when they were doing like the panoramic view of the building, you can switch between different graphics. So like one of them you could turn off and it looks very much like a game on the PS3 or even the PS4 and I'm assuming like the 360. And then you could turn it back on and it smooths it out. So it's almost like a movie frame in that sense. So nice. yeah, it was really neat. I didn't do a whole lot once I took control of the character after the shootout. I kind of just ran around maybe for about 10 minutes. I found a couple of the platforms, the plaques to see what they did, but which was just more information. But it was cool. I did play with the different like crowd settings. When you first jump into it, you're at 100%. Yeah. So I played with that. I flew up in drone mode up to the sky, which was really cool because you could start hearing the traffic down below start to fade out. You know what I mean? The higher you got, I checked out signs. I was checking out the windows and stuff like that. And, while the apartments are still like the stock viewpoint, I'm not expecting them to render, into unique building, apartments. But it was really neat. I did have a chance to do it on the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, and they run very similar.
I was just impressed that when you go into that drone mode and you fly around the city, there were some apartments you could go look inside of.
Yeah.
And there was actual like furniture and stuff like that inside of them. So like they could have just blanked out all the windows and nobody probably would have said anything, but they went that extra step. And yeah, you can't look inside of every apartment, but there are some that are rendered, and I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, and like different cars, you can get right up on them. You can see the details. You can see like little scratches like that. You can see the people looking at you as you walk by. The signs, the street signs that you saw, and the trash. It was really cool to see it all happening in real time and to play with the different settings.
I think a cool little Easter egg is when they first drop you into that mode where you can walk around and all that kind of stuff, is to have a woman in a red dress walk toward you and then past you and then just like fade into, like just disperse into the Matrix.
I missed that.
No. I'm saying that would have been cool as like a little Easter egg.
Yeah. I bet you she's there somewhere.
She might be.
It might be one of those ones where you have to find her.
You never know. Maybe somebody out there has.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'll have to check that out. It's really neat. I like it. I'm looking forward to seeing what games do with the Unreal Engine 5. I know that it's still a ways out for people to fully utilize it. You know what I mean? It'll probably be toward the end of the console cycle of these consoles we're on now, but it's fucking exciting, man.
I don't know, man. Things speed up. I think it'll be sooner than that.
I hope so, because I'd love to play in worlds that look like that.
Plus, how long was the previous generation of consoles running?
8 years.
10 years.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll take that long for them to utilize this.
No, maybe to its max potential, because I think the people are already starting to work on games now using it. But it's like if you look at a game on the PS4 in the start of the cycle, and then look at one of the last games, on the PS4 right before the PS5 came out, like that's a huge jump. And that's just developers understanding the limitations of the tech,
And maybe developers were waiting for something like this to be made more available for something like a next Elder Scrolls or next GTA.
I wouldn't put it past them to do that. I think the Frostbite engine is one of them that people are using. Like I know Bethesda's using the new engine, and that's why they waited for these consoles, because it wouldn't run on the Xbox One or PS4.
Yeah, there were some games that they released for those that barely ran on those.
Yeah.
Like PUBG. PUBG on the previous generation consoles, you could play it, but you were at a disadvantage. And now it's smooth as hell playing on the next gen.
Awesome. Yeah, man.
It's nice. Like I don't have to wait. It used to be where I would parachute in, I'd land, and I'd have to wait for the building in front of me to render before I could go in and get stuff. Now the stuff is rendered as like before I jump out of the plane, and I don't have to worry about it anymore, which is nice.
Hell yeah. It's awesome that you're actually able to experience that shit now,
Yeah, it's a benefit for sure.
As much as I give Xbox shit, I think the Xbox One was one of the worst consoles because of that kind of shit. You know what I mean? I think it's like they were trying to do too much, and I think they figured that out with the Series S and Series X. And like, okay, let's put games first. Let's do the games now. You know what I mean? And here we are, with Game Pass and fucking powerful systems that you jump in. You're like let's fucking go. Let's play.
Yeah, it definitely is a better experience on the next gen console.
Yep. Hell yeah.
Less loading, less buffering, more options, smoother gameplay, better sound, everything.
You're better sound. You know what I mean?
I don't know about that. My microphone has been fucking with me this entire recording.
Well, then if it's not better sound, what's better visuals than what you've been watching?
Oh, what I've been watching. Well, I'm still trudging through Jessica Jones season 3. Slowly, at a crawl. I know. I've been slacking. The season 3 just isn't grabbing my attention, so it's kind of like a chore to watch it. But I'll do it. I'll get through it. It's not that even that it's bad. It's just disinteresting.
Bad.
I don't think it's bad per se. Like, Cloak and Dagger was bad. The Runaways was bad. This is just kind of boring. And there's a difference.
Yeah. I mean, that's bad for TV, though.
True. For a viewing experience, it's bad, but the show, the quality is not bad. Like, the acting is good, the settings are good, the production is good. The storyline, I think it's the writing and the story that is kind of dragging me down.
Yeah.
So, other than that, I just watched a couple of older movies this week. Nothing too crazy. I watched the original Stargate.
Hell yeah.
And yeah. Why not, right? It was there. I was just like, let's watch it. So I did. Super entertaining. Forgot how much I enjoy that. Obviously, it's a early to mid 90s sci-fi movie, so the special effects don't quite keep up with today's standards, but the movie as a whole does hold up relatively well. And then I also watched Idiocracy.
That's a classic.
Yeah, it is now a classic. It's came out in 2006?
Yeah,
something like that.
And we're living it every day now.
It's now become a documentary. It's got electrolytes. It's what plants crave.
What are you watching that on?
Actually, I watched it on YouTube.
Gotcha.
They have movies on there that you can watch for free, and then they just show you an ad every once in a while. So it's not really any different than watching it on cable or TV. And it's not edited. So, nice. Although I did come across one that I tried to watch that way that was edited, and I couldn't do it. It was We Were Soldiers. Okay. And they edited out swear words. And I was just like, you can't really watch a movie like that with that kind of edited. No, it just doesn't work. So I didn't watch that one.
But it's good that you have standards.
But it was weird. Idiocracy, not edited at all. So I don't know who decided to do what, but sometimes there are movies available. I didn't know this until about 2 weeks ago. There are movies available on YouTube in their, whole movies. You just have to watch ads every once in a while, and you can just sit there and watch a movie on YouTube.
Yeah, I think I watched a couple movies on Twitch that way, where I don't know what it was. They played some random movie, and I didn't know that they were able to do that. I thought it was just one of those things that you could stream, and we were getting away with it. So I just sat there and watched it just to see what would happen. But I guess they did it like every Sunday. So it's clearly something that was going on. But
what have you been watching?
Well, so I started watching Netflix's Lost in Space Season 3, because that came out on Monday, something like that. So we're only an episode in. because we were trying to wrap up on other episodes. We finished up F is for Family. And then Lost in Space came out. We watched that. Tonight, we're actually going to be watching an episode or two of Witcher Season 2, because that's out.
Okay.
But Lost in Space Season 3, it's going to be the final season, which I like. You know what I mean? It's like, it's a good series. I like it a lot. I think, like you said, the production value is pretty good. But I don't need something like this to go on 11 seasons. If you need to tell your story in 3 seasons only, wrap it up, I'm good to go. So I'm here for that ride. You know, F is for Family was only 5 seasons, and they're like, we told our story, we're done. You know, so I like that. You know, Ozark is going to do the same with season 4. Granted, they're doing part 1 and part 2, but they're like, that's all we have for the story. So I was watching Lost in Space, and then we'll be watching The Witcher tonight. I did watch last night Shang-Chi, Legend of the Ten Rings. It was okay. I think watching it on my 4K TV, you can see a lot of what was green screen, and it looked weird. So it was almost like that, how everyone... It wasn't as bad as certain parts of Black Panther, where it looked like, you know, digitized people dancing on a cliffside. You know, the action was still happening on a particular device, but you can see that they weren't like on the road. And while that's fine, I'm not expecting you guys to be doing your own crazy stunts down the streets of San Francisco. Like the colorization made it pop out and made it noticeable that you weren't actually doing that.
That's a shame.
Yeah. But I thought it was funny. There were some funny parts. I think the story was a little bit rushed. You know, you could have kind of cut back on some of the lore that they were trying to tell and push into something like maybe like the next movie or so. But it did have its comedy in it that I liked. It was like more lighthearted. I would say it's kind of like Ant-Man in that regard.
Okay.
I liked it. It didn't go very high on the Marvel movies that I really enjoy. But that said, I am looking forward to seeing what they do for the second one that's already being greenlit and written. I'm glad I didn't see it in theater.
That's fair.
But
what are you seeing in theater soon?
I will be seeing Spider-Man. That's going to be tomorrow on the 18th. I'll be doing it in the morning. I have mixed feelings about it. I think it's going to be a great movie, but I don't know if I'm going to enjoy my experience in the theater. But it's not one that I wanted to go see at the drive-in either. You know what I mean? I think there's a lot to be had seeing in theater for this particular movie, because there's going to be so much going on and a lot of different, you know, CGI moments that kind of lose their luster a little bit on a projector. You know, I can see 007 and movies like that on a projector at the drive-in. This I will be seeing in theater. I'll be taking my mask to wear because I don't trust people, and we'll be seeing it in the Dolby theater at AMC.
Nice.
So, yeah, man. With all the portals opening up and those fight scenes that we've seen just in the trailer and shit like that, like I wanna feel that. So, and I have to see that in theater because people are gonna spoil that shit. People have already started to spoil it Thursday morning. You know what I mean? So I haven't actually been on social media for a couple days, which is crazy. You know, to think about. Like it's what, 2 days? I wasn't on it yesterday or today, but it's so ingrained for me to reach for my phone when I have a free moment to just look at dumb things. And there's plenty of people that are trying to spoil some shit.
Yeah, isn't that dumb that we're just programmed to do that at this point?
Yeah,
like, oh, I'm bored. Let's go on Facebook. Or is it still called Facebook? It's still called Facebook, part of the metaverse, right? That's what they've done.
Yeah,
whatever. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but it's dumb. Like, I get you're excited and I get you want to talk about it, but like you making your little funny memes that you don't think spoils anything spoils a lot. You know what I mean? Like, it's fucking ridiculous. And so it's sad that I have to essentially stay away from everybody. Even people text me like, have you seen Spider-Man? Yeah, I was like, no. And I don't want to talk about it, so don't say anything. It's just, I don't like, now they're actively, you know, reaching out about it. It's like, the fucking movie just came out. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm glad you're seeing it tomorrow, so it can't be ruined anymore then.
Right.
What, less than
And then I'm going to do a
right?
spoiler cast as soon as we come back. I'm going to post that shit. I'm going to be like, you know what? Spider-Man was so-and-so. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not part of the problem. You know?
Be the change you want to see in the world.
Do what?
Be the change you want to see in the world.
Yeah, I will be. You're right.
That's right.
Yeah. You're right.
I'm excited for The Matrix to come out, which is less than a week away. So,
and I'm seeing that HBO.
That one I might go see in theaters.
Yeah.
I want to go see Spider-Man in theaters too, but yeah, I'm not interested in the crowds. So, I'll wait a week or two.
Yeah. You're not normally on social media a lot, so you could probably get away with it.
That's true. Yeah. I have a lot of those accounts, but I very rarely I'm on anything other than Facebook. Well, and Reddit. Reddit, I guess, is technically social media. And
they could be just as ruthless as anywhere else.
Oh, I think they're more ruthless, personally. That's like a more widely accepted 4chan at this point.
We don't talk about the butthole of the internet, man. So speaking of the Matrix, however, there was an article because Mr. Keanu Reeves is making his, tours for the Matrix. And I think I have actually read this before, but Keanu Reeves almost used the stage name Chuck Spadina.
Would not have held up.
Right. He said for the IGN article that, when he was 20 years old, he was in his first car. He wanted to be in movies, so he went to Hollywood. And as soon as he gets there, they wanted him to change his name because it sounded too exotic. So he came up with the name Chuck Spadina. Chuck being some random fucking name, right? And then Spadina was the street that he lived on when he was in Toronto.
So he went what would your porn star name be route?
Yeah. So it would have been Chuck Spadina in The Matrix, So he laughed about it. He said, I can only imagine what kind of career I would have had as Chuck Spadina, But when it came down to it, he's like, I can't do it. I'm keeping my name.
Good for him.
Yeah. So I thought it was funny. He's actually been in a couple articles that I've read that's been pretty funny, where people were making mods on Cyberpunk 2077 so that they could have sex with his character. And his response to that was just that's cool. I'm not going to condone you doing that, but if you do that, neat. All right. And it's funny because even Carrie Ann Moss was like, no thanks. I don't want you to be having sex with my character. And Keanu is just I'm not gonna say go do it, but if you do it, cool. It's one of those things, man.
He's got to be one of the most zen people in Hollywood.
Oh yeah, I would love to just have a piece of pizza with that guy, on a park bench. You know what I mean? Just talk about whatever it is that came to mind. Penny for your thoughts style. You know what I mean?
That would be interesting.
I try to reach out to him, see if we can get him on here.
Yeah. Have our people reach out to his people.
I will, man. You never know.
That would be. I mean, he's on a press junket right now. I mean, we could just blend in with everybody else's requests, and what's the worst they're going to say? No.
Yeah. Exactly. So I think I'm going to do that over break. I'm going to reach out. So I thought that was funny. I wanted to share that little tidbit with everything. But I think that's about it, man. That's all I really have left. Is there anything that popped up?
Well, I know last week we touched on the announcement of the Halo TV series that's going to be developed and coming out.
Yeah.
So I guess this week they announced that the TV series is going to be separate canon from the games and everything else that's been established up to this point. They're going to be calling it Halo Universe Silver. So it's going to be its own set of canon starting with the TV show, it made me instantly less interested in the TV show.
Yeah, I can see that.
I am not interested in following two diverging storylines of the same intellectual property. Personally,
Yeah.
If I can watch things like Rogue One, I can watch things like Solo, because those loop back in to the overarching story of Star Wars.
Right.
They link directly in. This, you're telling me, has nothing to do with everything that's made Halo what it is today, and it's going to be its own thing. Why would I care? I care about what's been developed, not what's being made that has nothing to do with what's been developed. So, no thanks. I'm good. I'm probably not going to watch it.
That's a shame. So I think it'll be interesting to see how people react to that and see what's going to happen. They could kill it after season 1 for that. And I wouldn't put it past those fans, because they're making the show for I don't want to say a rabid fan base, but it's a pretty loyal fan base. And going about that way, people may just reject it.
Yeah, like I just did.
Yeah.
Because again, I already have feelings about Halo, and I've enjoyed it for 20 effing years now. So why would I care about anything that's not related to what I've developed a relationship with for 20 years?
Right.
Like, they'd be like, hey, I know you've been married for 20 years, but and I know you're in a happy relationship and marriage, but come have this weekend fling with me. It's like, why would I do that? That's fucking dumb. You have nothing to do with anything that is important to me. So go fuck yourself. Get out of here. So I'm probably not going to watch it.
Well, it's good to know your stance, man. We'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, hopefully they get some pushback and they change that, but I'm not optimistic.
Is there anything that would get you to watch it? Or
if they made it canon.
Yeah.
If it was directly related to everything that's been developed and built over the past 20 years, cool. I'm on board, because it only adds enjoyment to what I already enjoy.
Gotcha. Makes sense. Yeah. Well, we'll see. It's interesting. It's almost like shooting yourself in the foot.
A little bit, yeah.
It's like but who knows? Like, they did that with Star Trek, and that did really well. So I guess it could be bringing in a completely different fan base that, doesn't know how to jump into Halo 6. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess there's an argument to be made for it. I don't know if Star Trek is... When was Star Trek not canon?
Well, I'm saying parallel universe.
Are you talking about like the reboots with Chris Pine and all that?
Yeah, but like it doesn't wipe away everything else. You know what I mean? Like everything that you knew for Star Trek is still canon, and then now this is a separate canon that intermingle at some point because of Spock.
But I was just about to say that. Even then, they still link them somehow. I guess we'll see what they do, but I'm not optimistic.
I gotcha, bro.
Well, I mean, converting video games into TV shows and movies does not have a great track record as it is. So why would you give yourself a disadvantage already, given that history of doing that?
Right. No, I understand. I agree with that. I don't think it was great to do that, or they should have stated that when they were deciding to make it. You know what I mean?
I'm sure that
I think it was one of those things where it's like, we got the trailer out and we got the hype. Now let's drop this fucking piece of knowledge on them. And so it's like, I think it would have killed them as soon as they were like, yeah, we're going to make a Halo TV show and it's going to be non-canon. And then everyone's going to reject it right away. Now that they've had that trailer out and everyone's like, that looks interesting. It's like, it's not canon, by the way. It's like, fuck.
Yeah,
That's
if
cool.
they should have taken the when a government department or agency or official wants to not talk about something, there's the old tried and true method of releasing that information at like 3:30, 4 o'clock on a Friday, so nobody talks about it. And by the time Monday rolls around, there's something else in the news.
Right.
So they should have done that like next Thursday, right before Christmas. They should have made this announcement.
Like Christmas, and forgets about it.
Yep, nobody's paying attention. Let's tell everyone.
Yeah, they should have. That would have been funny to see. But anyway,
now it is time for Q&A with DNA.
Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah. All right. So, Andy.
Yeah.
In your opinion,
in my humble opinion,
what is the secret to staying young?
42.
Okay, we're gonna go Hitchhiker's Guide to the Universe.
I actually like this question a lot. The secret to staying young, I think, is you can't like. I like the question, but I don't know if my answer is fully developed, much like a young person. You can't. You're allowed to grow up without letting go of your youth. You know, everyone says that youth, or they attribute youth to being in a certain age bracket, and I don't believe that's the case. Staying young is what you do with your heart, right? It's enjoy the dumb things, enjoy the little things. You like that action figure that your 8-year-old self would have enjoyed? Fucking buy it. Open it up, play with it a little bit, right? When you're done playing with it, hand it over to a kid or something, or put it on the shelf. You want that Lego set? Get that Lego set. You want to play your games? Get those games. You know what I mean? You want to go to a park and throw a football with some friends? That kind of shit keeps the youth alive and keeps you young. Whether your body gives out or not, at the knees is a different story, but that's a different type of
youth.
Yeah, exactly. It's like youth is all a mindset. You know what I mean? That's when people start thinking that they're getting old because of their fucking birthday. Age is just a number. It's how are you feeling? You know what I mean? So that's how you stay young. Enjoy things. Do things that, may not necessarily be for adults, like playing with a toy or whatever. Who cares? If that brings you joy, do it.
I enjoyed going to a trampoline park.
Those are fun.
I've only been to one as an adult. I wish they were around when we were kids.
I know. But we have kids now that like to do it, and so we'll go. Urban Air or whatever, or Jump Zone or whatever they call them.
They let adults do their thing.
Yeah.
There you go.
Do that. You know what I mean?
I got some nasty looks when I went in and played dodgeball with all the kids. But it was fun, man. And there was a couple of them that kicked my ass. Like, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. Yeah, it is fun. You're giving yourself into the moment,
Yeah. No, I get it. And I agree. It's more of a state of mind, and the physical stuff is something that's out of your control. So what you can control, do that.
Yeah.
I'm guilty of the Lego sets thing. Like, I have at least 4 that I'm going to be putting together after Christmas.
Nice.
So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Like, I just put together a Christmas wreath Lego set.
Oh yeah, I've seen that one online. Is it pretty cool?
It's awesome. It's hanging on my wall right now.
Very cool.
How
big is it?
I mean, take your hand and stretch out your fingers, right? It's gonna be bigger than that.
Okay, so about a foot and a half.
Yeah,
not bad.
It's good. It takes a while because a lot of it for this particular set is all the same. right?
Okay.
Because you're building a circle and it's all the same theme. But it was cool. We watched Spider-Man, Far From Home or whatever. We put that on, and I just laid it out on the table, and I watched it while putting this together.
That's cool.
So I put it together in a night, but I like it a lot. It's up there with my Lego bonsai tree.
That's yeah.
Like I like these kinds of sets, and yeah,
I have. It's unfortunate for the stuff I have for Legos because I have a lot of those really large sets. So once I build them, I've only got so many places to put them.
Yeah.
So
we're just gonna have to get an office.
Yeah, right. As of right now, the only one that I have out on display is my Saturn V rocket.
Yeah. Yeah, the Christmas wreath I'll be putting in its box, of course, because it's not going to be Christmas
sure.
much longer. But it's nice because I'm going to keep the book. I think I can unhook it in certain ways to where it can stay together in most pieces, and then whatever falls off, I'll just put back on. But I like it, man. I like it a lot.
Very cool.
All right, Dan.
Yes, sir. What you got?
If you could be any athlete for a single game, who would you choose?
Oh. Well, obviously, the obvious answer, and the answer generally that I'm going to go with, as most people would be some sort of superstar, right? Like, you're not going to pick some random minor player from the mid 80s in some weird sport, right?
Right.
So I think it would either be Michael Jordan during his flu game.
Yeah.
Just to truly understand how fucking impressive that performance was.
Mm-hmm.
Like have a deeper respect and understanding of it, because it's already pretty damn impressive.
That would have been my answer too.
Or it would be Tom Brady during the Super Bowl comeback over the Falcons when they were down 28-3.
Jesus. That's a good one.
It would be one of those two. Just to fully understand and have a deeper appreciation for that accomplishment, because holy shit, those are both things that we will almost certainly never see again.
You don't want to be the quarterback of the Falcons when they lost that?
No, why would I want to be Matt fucking Ryan in a major loss, in an embarrassing loss? No.
So, wow, I've never. The last time I felt this shameful.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, mine would have been the flu-ridden Michael Jordan winning that. Of course.
I think those two would be real tough to decide between.
Yeah. Cool. Those are good ones. I like those. I like those questions this week. But that's it, Dan. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it.
Okay.
Let's get out of here and go on break.
Yeah, Christmas time.
Yeah, this has been Jabberbox, episode 25. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget that we post each and every week almost about whatever it is we want to talk about. If you like that, please join us over on patreon.com/dandydigital, where you can write in and be part of the show and get the episodes early. If you have no bucks to toss our way, that is just dandy with us. Please subscribe to us on YouTube or any of your favorite podcast services and rate us to help us grow the show into something bigger and better. From all of us here at Dandy Digital, we want to thank you for listening to our show, and we hope that you have a safe and happy holiday.
Absolutely. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, everyone.